Hi, I'm Tim Roble, and welcome to another episode of Adventure Athlete. Today we're at my dad's house out in Bullhead City, Arizona, physically about 14 miles from Oatman. Maybe some of you had visited Oatman, or about 8 miles from Laughlin across the river where all the casinos are at. But today I'm here to build a video basically for one of my dad's friends so he can see the yard. He hasn't been able to make it out, so we wanted to do a video of the yard, so I thought I would share it with the rest of you, and maybe stay tuned and you may learn a little bit about cactus. So this backyard was done about 14 years ago and took about 3 years to kind of get going. Throughout the backyard, he had 40 tons of rock brought in, gravel, and he shoveled all of the gravel in, and then had other rock delivered, and all of this rock and cactus has been planted and hand placed by him or my mom. Just recently I've got out here and started working through some of this cactus stuff and learning a little bit. Some of the first things that we'll talk about out here in Arizona, out in Bullhead specifically, is it stays windy out here a lot. So you can see a ring right here where he had a couple trees planted, and trees really don't do well out here. They require a lot of water, and with all the winds they end up blowing over. The neighbor's got some trees up over here, and she's had those blow over a couple times, and they had to come out and reset them. So things to think about as far as cactus goes, they really don't require a lot of water. This whole backyard now is set up on no water system. So we had a water system back here, and it's gone now. We took it out. He does do some hand watering and some hose watering of some cactus maybe once a month, but other than that, it's a very low maintenance backyard.
You have to water to prune it, you don't need it.
Yeah, I don't know if you could hear that, but he said if you have to water or prune it, you don't need it. So this is, you know, he's 81 now, and it just really makes a nice low maintenance backyard. And you know, a lot of this cactus came out of little pots, like real little, like 2-inch pots at Lowe's, and you know, he put them and let it grow a little bit, and just kind of transplanted it, you know, a little bit at a time. So what he's doing right here is he's doing his pruning. Uses the barbecue tongs and a bucket, and just walks around, and he doesn't want things to get too big or too out of the circles. Another thing that does really well out here is the ocotillas. They go through different phases. I really should have filmed this video maybe a month ago, when this whole backyard was in bloom, and we had cactus flowers on just about every cactus out here. It was super amazing. But we're at the end of May right now, and everything's kind of gone away. We're coming into the heat. Today we're going to hit 95 degrees, and that's probably only because we have a good wind going on right now. But all this little stovepipe, or I believe they call it organ pipe cactus, are all transplanted. You saw him take the tongs and actually twist a paddle off. What that does is a lot of these are transplants. So you take this paddle right here and you twist it off, and what he does is, this is what a guy from the nursery told him, is you lay it on the ground for about 2 days until that bottom part gets a scab on it. Then you take it and you take a little spot and you clear it out in the dirt, and you bury it to about maybe the midline, and you water it for a couple weeks, and then keep an eye on it for a month or so, and next thing you know, you have another cactus going on. So if you look, there's a lot of cactus that looks like the other cactus. You know, we have different paddle cactus here. Some of the paddles are round, you know, and you can tell, like this one was broken off of that and started. Some of these up here came from the more unique looking paddles that we have over here. Once again, 6 ocotillas in the backyard. some are really flourishing, and others they go through different stages. You know, like this one over here is just now starting to get leaves popping out on it. This is the last one we planted, and it was a project we did together and got it going. And you know, it looks like it's dormant and dead, but next couple of weeks it'll start popping out leaves, and it'll be green like the rest of them. So this is one of my favorite cactus. Have no idea what it's called, but just super cool looking, and you can see that it used to have red flowers and going nuts all over the place. It was really neat. But you know, all of this is transplanted off of you know, one I think that came off of this stack. What happens is a lot of times the wind will end up blowing these over, and he'll take those and go transplant 3 or 4 at a time and put them in there, just whatever he broke off, and they start growing. Now this backyard pretty much goes without water, you know, other than just rain. He'll take and he waters the birds, he calls it, and the birds come into the feeder and get up here in the Acacia, which is unbelievable. Get their water, and then got a little quail circle set up over here, and we put bird feed out there to feed the quail.
Timoteo. Acacia.
That's the one we planted. What he had here was red tip yuccas, and there was 6 big bushes in here, and 2 really big ones in the center. And about 4 months ago we dug all of those out and kind of collected some more rock up and made this so it doesn't need to be watered. We actually turned off the valves for the watering system back here. What happens with cactus, he's found through the years, is if you water it too much, it grows too fast, and you know, with the winds out here, it just ends up breaking off. So all of this cactus right here came from Lowe's, you know, like $15 and $20 little pots, and over the next couple of years this stuff will really start to take off. Got some aloe vera here, and these are some of the more unique paddles. With the shape of I don't want to call it the leaves, but the paddles, you know, some of them are very unique. And what happened with this one last year is it actually the whole thing blew over, and I took it and transplanted it back, and so now we're starting to prune some of the weight off of the things that hang out on it. So being that it's leaning back now, we're leaving these paddles that are coming off at that direction off, but back here a lot of this stuff we're kind of doing just a kind of a quick walkthrough with the bucket and the barbecue tongs, and just taking some of the stuff off. So we're going to take this one off right here, and just to try to take a little weight off. So just like that. And then, like, what you'll do there is I'm going to take this paddle home and I'll transplant it back at my house. Fish hook paddle here. That's another one that doesn't, you don't want to give too much water or get going too big, because it'll fall over. But back here, more stovepipes. I think I counted something like 65 cactus and 18 different types of plants back here. But this is just a very good typical Arizona yard that you don't need, you know, senior community, you don't need a whole lot of upkeep to do. I'll take you for a quick tour of the front, show you what we did yesterday. Yesterday I basically moved 18 buckets of rock, and the front out here had Acacias also, and we've started transplanting. This was a not an Acacia, but a red tip yucca. So this was all on a watering system, and we put in cactus instead. And the front now is requires no watering system. That's turned off. But knocked this all out. This was 18 buckets of rock, getting all organized. That one right there is basically my limit of what I can lift and put in place. It's probably about a 200-pound rock, and that actually came out of the backyard. So this turned out really nice. He's always fine-tuning and playing with something, and kind of like I guess that's where I got that from, is just working through some stuff. When we're out here doing the red tip yuccas, a lot of the roots from this run all the way over. They go through all throughout the yard, very shallow, so it doesn't take a whole lot of water. But these were all red tips. The plan was to put cactus in here, but we ended up just using the rock instead. Another beautiful yard, but it utilizes trees that, you know, leaves go all over and shed and require a lot of water. Palm trees across the street. Once again, she was out there yesterday working for probably 6 hours pruning and trying to take care of stuff. So this is a very low maintenance yard. I do have to do some weeding this afternoon, but that's pretty much gonna be it. That's the tour of the house. Dave, I hope you enjoyed this. For everybody else that's watching, I hope you like this and maybe have learned something. If you have any questions or comments, hit me up down below. Like and subscribes are always appreciated. And once again, I appreciate each and every one of you. I appreciate your views. I try to get back 100% to the people that comment and try to have a good conversation there. So that's going to be it for right now. I'm Tim Roble. I thank you for watching, and I'll catch you here next time.